Hi guys, welcome back to the Heel Reviewer. This should hopefully be a short, but it may drag on a bit because, as you might be able to see, that is a slideshow on my laptop of basically good records. As you can see with my records here, we're going through these in a long form video in like an hour probably maybe slightly longer. So this is the guitars. Fortunately, it's got a Telecaster here and they've got a Stratocaster in the bag. And then, so basically, I'm going to be going through my favourite albums of each year from 1955 till now. So this is going to go, it's going to have a lot of pauses and a lot of cuts, because I'll pause it just so I'm not sat there picking an album from each year for ages. So I'm just going to get straight into it. 1955, we've got In the Wee Small Hours by Frank Sinatra. Ignore the sales, which is the thing after the dates, because those are wrong. Basically, I made up how much I thought they sold, so that's like a joke. And then I just forgot to get rid of them, so those will be going soon, just ignore those. Again, my opinions may change, but for now, this is it for 1955 and the Wee Small Hours by Frank Sinatra. 1956, I'm going with Elvis Presley's self-titled album by Elvis Presley. It was pretty much that or the Elvis one, the one which released afterwards, but I wasn't sure, but I went for this one in the end. 1957 was probably the hardest one yet, but I went for Here's Little Richard by Little Richard. That's a beautiful record. If you haven't listened to it already, I definitely recommend. All of these albums I will recommend, but there was a lot of choices for 1957, I will say. 1958, I've gone for Elvis's Golden Record. So these are basically just Elvis's greatest hits before 1958. So if you're probably wondering, where's, let's say, Can't Help Falling in Love with You, that won't be on there because that was on the album. I think it was on. Wait, let me think. Well, I forgot it. I forgot what album it was on now, but it was on an album in 1969. So I will find out for you later what album that was on, but I forgot. But, yep. So that's 1958. 1950. So guys, did not mean to cut there. 1959, sorry, it's for LP fans only by Elvis Presley. I'm not that big of an LP of an Elvis Presley fan. It's just the fact that for the 50s, really, let's be honest, Elvis Presley dominated the 50s. Skipping 1960 because there's nothing there. 1961 is Elvis Presley's Blue Hawaii. So that's this one, great movie as well. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. If you haven't, then don't worry. 1962, Elvis Presley's Potluck. Just after the next year, I'm just gonna say, will be my favourite band of all time and my favourite to ever make music's first album. That's all I'm gonna say. You might be able to guess it. I believe it was on my shirt yesterday in the Jey Uso video short. It might not have been, so don't criticize me if it isn't, but it was on, I think. But this one did kind of flop after what's it called, Blue Hawaii, but it's still a good one. 1963, as I was saying, that is the Beatles' Please Please Me. The Beatles, I'm just such a big fan. I love them. I've watched pretty much every single movie. I've got every single one of their albums. And also, by the way, a bit of a spoiler about for the next video, but the next video should be going on in an hour, which I've already said, I think, we'll be going through those records here, there, loads of them, and I want 500 more, but I'm just showing you the best of every year so far. But we will go through those next video in a long form video like this one. Now, 1964 is A Hard Day's Night. The movie's great if you've ever seen it. It is in black and white because they didn't have enough money to make it colourful, but it is still probably, not including their documentaries, probably their best movie, I want to say. It's better than Help, and it's better than Magical Mystery Tour. So the only one which actually kind of makes sense. And also it's a great album. It's got great songs on it. Probably their turning point in their career when they went big. It was quite hard to choose for 1964, but in the end I managed to choose. 1965 was also very hard, but in the end I went for Rubber Soul by the Beatles. Probably their third best album, maybe fourth actually, maybe fifth. But it was very tricky between this album, Highway 61 Visited by Bob Dylan, or 19 or Help by the Beatles. Those three were the ones which really stumped me, but I went for this one in the end. For 1966, I went for the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. I do prefer the Beatles to the Beach Boys, but I do love the Beach Boys. This is definitely, I think, in my top 10 best albums of all time. It was between this one and Revolver, but in the end, I went for this one, the Pet Sounds over Revolver, just because it's got slightly more tracks, and I just think it's more colourful than Revolver. Revolver's very colourful and very good, but I do slightly prefer Pet Sounds. For 1967, I went for the Beatles' most selling album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The picture's not that great, could have got a better one. I'm going to get a better one soon, probably. But that is my one I chose for 1967. For 1968, I went for my favourite album of all time, the Beatles' self-titled album, or are also mainly known as the White Album, around the world. That's the main title for it, but its technical name is The Beatles by the Beatles. So this is my favourite album of all time. I love it. It's so long, it's so good. It's so different from all the songs. They're all different on most albums, and even on some young early Beatles albums, they are similar to each other, All in the Way, but that one they're not. 1969, I went with what I think is the second best Beatles album, maybe the third, Abbey Road. This is a beautiful album. It's very colourful. The only thing I would change about it, I would make the medley slightly longer, but it's still good. It's not really anything I change about the album. Most albums there are things I would change, but this one I don't think there's anything I would change. Maybe I'd probably get rid of Her Majesty, because that's just a 25-second pointless song. But yeah, it's 30 million. It's the second best-selling album. It was between this one and Led Zeppelin, the first Led Zeppelin album, which is also very good. As much as I love Let It Be, as much as I love George Harrison's All Things Must Pass, as much as I love John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band, as much as I love Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath, as much as I love In Rock by Deep Purple and the very other good albums which were released in 1970, like Live at Leeds by The Who as well, this one, I think, just about by a tiny margin, does just come on top for me. It's probably the best Black Sabbath album, probably the best metal album of all time, at least in my opinion. It's so good. This one is very controversial. I can tell I'm going to get a lot of things about this one. I can already tell, but this one, for me at least, is Hunky Dory by David Bowie. It's between this one and Led Zeppelin 4, Ram, What's Up by Marvin Gaye, John Lennon's Imagine, and there are other good albums, but overall I just love David Bowie. Would have gone for 1969. I was just closely going for Space. I was going to go for Space Oddity, but the only thing I really like of Space Oddity is Space Oddity, and also White Abbey Road is so much better. The album for me of 1972 is The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. I love this album. I've actually been near the street of where the picture was taken. And it's also on the same street as or very close to the street as of Strange Days by The Doors album cover was taken. That's also a good album, but it didn't come on top in the end. But great album, one of David Bowie's best. Sorry guys, should have paused it. You did see Volume 4 by Black Sabbath. That was not my choice for 1972, as you just saw. But my choice for 1973 is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. 1973 was a very good year for albums. That was the Beatles' greatest hits. There was Ringo's Ringo. There was Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Bob Marley's Catch a Fire, and there are other various good things, but in the end I went for Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, probably the best one of the best albums of all time, and probably definitely the best Pink Floyd album. For me, at least in 1974, there wasn't a lot of options for me, but I ended up going with Queen's Sheer Heart Attack. I love Queen. A lot of people, apparently from what I've heard, think they're just the greatest hits band, like you should only listen to their greatest hits and stuff and that's it, but I like some of their like niche, not quite small stuff, but this album's great. Considering it was their third album, also great. There were so many good choices for me, and 1975, but I ended up going with Queen's Night at the Opera. There was like Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin, there was Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. There was even, oh no, what's it called? I forgot it now. Let me just go back. Let me just show you ones I was going for. That one alongside the keyboard. That one's good. I was going for Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. That was the one I was trying to say. That one was very close, but I ended up going for A Night at the Opera by Queen for 1975. It took me a very long time choosing for 1976, but in the end I went for Animals by Pink Floyd. I was going to go for Station to Station by David Bowie, but in the end I changed my mind to Animals by Pink Floyd. Great album. That balloon's quite cool. That factory isn't there anymore. They've changed what it is now. Now, don't think I can say this full title, let's just say, but 1977 I think was the hardest year we've had yet. I love so many albums from 1977, but I think Nevermind by the Pistols I'm just going to say to shorten it, because I would like, not like kids, but like younger people to watch this, and I don't want them to get bad ideas, let's just say. So I like this album. It's probably one of my favourite albums. I love it. It's probably the best punk album. 1978 was also very hard, but in the end I went for Earth, Wind & Fire's Greatest Hits, Volume 1, because it's got like their main hits, which is just great. Not gonna lie, so yeah. Not really a lot to say about this album. It's Greatest Hits, so it's got the greatest hits on it. 1979 was very hard, but in the end I went for The Clash's London Calling. It was between this, The Wall by Pink Floyd, or wait, let me just get back and check what it was. Or it was Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division, that was it. So it was one of them lot, and I just really couldn't decide, so I just had to. But in the end, I pretty much just chose The Clash's London Calling, so that's a beautiful album. 1980 was very hard, but in the end, I went for AC/DC's Back in Black. Probably one of the best albums of all time. It was pretty much between this or Scary Monsters and Super Creeps by David Bowie. But in the end, I went for this one. Great album. For 1981, I went for Damaged by that was good, by Black Flag. Couldn't get my words out then. Great album. Probably one of the best of the 80s. 1982 was also one of the hardest ones we've had yet, but I went for Michael Jackson's Thriller. Basically, I never realised this until like a couple of months ago, and I pretty much told everyone who I knew who liked music. Look, if you look closely, he's wearing a fleece, which is quite strange, but not hating, but it's the most selling album of all time, and it's great and amazing. I love it. 1983 was also very hard, but in the end I went for Paul McCartney's Pipes of Peace. I love the song. It's got Tug of Peace, The Man with Michael Jackson, Say Say Say. It's just a great album overall. But yeah, the album cover's great as well. For 1984, that was also very hard, but in the end I went for The Replacements as Let It Be. It was rather this or Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, but in the end I went for this one. Probably one of the best albums of the 80s in my opinion. Didn't sell that much, but I love it. Didn't have that much commercial success, but I love it. 1985 for me was quite easy. It's the Who collection. This is like 40 songs of their greatest hits. So not really a lot to say about this. It's pretty easy. I love the Who, and I love most of their songs. So for me, and there then be an album of their best 40 songs is great, I think. 1986 was very hard because it had the likes of Master of Puppets and let me just check what the next one was. That was one. It's the Kind of Magic and the Queen is Dead by the Smiths. But in the end, I went for Raising Hell by Run DMC because they are like very nostalgic. This one is a very nostalgic album. I remember liking this album when I was a kid and liking some of their music, and I re-listened to it a couple of months ago and I realised how much I like Run DMC in this album, so I went for this one for 1986. In the end, for 1987, I went for Michael Jackson's Bad. It didn't really come close when I looked at the overall for 1987. It's pretty much that or Tango in the Night by Fleetwood Mac. So yeah, it might not be called Tango in the Night. I think that's his name. Let me just double check. Yeah, that is it. Or Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. Those two are like the only ones that even came close. For 1988, I went for the Beatles' Past Masters. There were loads of good albums this year, like the Pixies' Surfer Rosa or NWO's. Not NWO, that's a wrestling group. NWA, sorry, is Straight Outta Compton. It was pretty much out of those three, but in the end, I went for the Beatles' Past Masters. This one, when it released, had like never seen Beatles songs and stuff, so that was really cool. Well, I wasn't around when it released, but it must have been very cool when it released. For 1989, I went for the Stone Roses. It's just a great album. It's got songs like Waterfall on it. Waterfall is very good. It's just a really beautiful album, and the album cover is also beautiful. This one may seem a bit of a like hot take or a strange take, but I went for the Immaculate Collection by Madonna. Because it is, again, like a greatest hits of Madonna. And obviously Madonna's good. And the only really one which came close to, for me at least, was The Razor's Edge by AC/DC with Thunderstruck on it. But in the end I went for this one because this is a greatest hits. For 1991 I went for Nirvana's Nevermind. They did do Bleach in 1989, but this was like breakthrough, I suppose you could say. But yep, this album was probably one of the best of the 90s. I love this album so much. It's really good and it's amazing and cool. Especially the album cover. For 1992, I went Automatic for the People for REM. It's got songs like Man on the Moon and Man on the Moon and other songs. For 1993, I went with Nirvana's In Utero. Great album cover, great songs like Heart Shaped Box and other songs, but this one's probably like, I think their second best album that they ever made. In the end, I went for the Weezer's Blue album. This one was very hard to choose. There was things like MTV Unplugged by Nirvana, and there was stuff like Live at BBC by the Beatles, and various other good albums. But in the end, and Park Life by Blur. But in the end, Weezer, the Blue album, just about took it for me. It's one of my favourite albums of all time. For me, 1995, the best album was Anthology 1 by the Beatles. This was like a sorry about that, guys. My stepbrother came in, but as I was saying, Anthology 1 is like, it's a bit like Past Masters, released in 1995. It was the first one of the three, and it had like unreleased Beatles songs and stuff, which is really cool. For this one, for 1996, sorry, not for this one, I had the choice of Anthology 2 and other albums, but in the end I went for Anthology 3, which is, there's only 3 anthologies, so this one will be the last anthology, but it's also probably the best anthology because it's got like their later stuff, which is like their best stuff, let's be real. For me, 1997 was very tough to choose because I had like things like Either Or by Elliott Smith and various other amazing albums, but I went for OK Computer by Radiohead, which actually I have a vinyl of it coming on Monday, so I will probably do a review of that when it comes to Monday. Actually, wait, let me think about that. So it's Thursday today. Today's music. Tomorrow will be a movie or show rating, because that's the order I do it in, 2 actually. And then Saturday will be a snack or food or drink. Sorry, I'm just calculating this, just so you can also hear it. Sunday would be WWE. And Monday will be music. So yes, I will do my short of the Radiohead like thing, and then I will do like a proper review of it probably. So yeah. So Radiohead is OK Computer. So yeah, that's probably the best album in 1997. Sorry guys, I forgot to pause that there for a minute, but the best album in 1998 for me is Tupac's Greatest Hits. I like Tupac and I like rap and stuff, so I think it's just a great album. It is the greatest hits, to be fair. For me, my favourite album of 1999 was the Slim Shady LP by Eminem. Eminem's first album, which wasn't with D12 and other things. My favourite album of 2000, of the brand new century, is Figure 8 by Elliott Smith. I love Elliott Smith and I love this album specifically. The Blueprint by Jay-Z is my favourite album of 2001. The date, it released on a day which is not a great day, let's just say. But I'm not going to go into that. That's probably, you would probably know what that is, first of all. And second of all, it's another video. Well, it won't be another video, actually, I lied. I'm not really doing videos on history. I might do the occasional video, but if I will, I'm not going to do that. Let's just say. So that's my favourite album of 2001. My favourite album of 2002 is Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco. Now this is a very small album. Not many people have heard of it, not many people know who Wilco even is, but it's a great album if you have heard of it. Very moody and quite dark. Very good, I love it. My favourite album of 2003 was the Black Album by Jay-Z, another Black album. Another Jay-Z album, not a Black album, it is a Black album. By another Black album I was referring to Metallica's Black album. Metallica's Black, is that the one? The thing, I was not being racist there, but just before I let you know. I know quite a lot of people who love this album. It's like Jay-Z's best one probably. So yes, moving on. For me at least, my favourite album of 2004 is From a Basement on a Hill by Elliott Smith. Elliott Smith died in 2003 from an apparent self-inflicted stabbing wound. But yeah. And this this was basically released by his family, unfinished in 2004. It was going to be like his White Album, like his experimental long album, but unfortunately he died before he could complete it, so rest in peace. For 2005, I have gone for Demon Days by the Gorillaz. It's got like songs like Feel Good, Eek, Ink, so not Eek, my voice went Ink, Demon Days, and some other good songs. But this one's probably the best Gorillaz album and the best album in 2005. My favourite album for 2006, there wasn't really a lot of good choices for me, so I went for My Chemical Romance's Black Parade. In the end, it's just the first one which I thought, yep, all the others didn't really pop up to me that much. The best album, for me at least, of 2007 is quite easily Graduation by Kanye West. Probably one of his best albums, probably his second, maybe his third. But even third's pushing it a bit. I think his second probably. I think his best probably might be Dark Twisted Fantasy. But this one's also amazing. I love it. Especially the album cover. It's very colourful. For 2008, I'm going for Kanye West's 808s and Heartbreak. This is probably like his best, maybe his third best album. It's beautiful. It's a lot about like, a lot of people said it's not really, a lot of people have said that it's not good because he's not really rapping and it's not proper Kanye, but I do completely disagree and it is amazing. So don't listen to these people. I only had this choice for 2009, but so the one which I probably wouldn't choose if I properly looked into what's released in 2009, but the first one which popped up, well, the only one which popped up was The End by the Black Eyed Peas, so I suppose that is the best album 2009. It's probably not, I will look into that for next time, but at least for now it is. 2010 is probably my favourite Kanye West album, and probably one of my favourite albums of all time, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It's very good. It's probably a tiny bit better by Graduation. Just a tiny bit because of how many, like, collaborations it's got on it and stuff. It's really good. My favourite album of 2011 is Watch the Throne with Jay-Z and Kanye West. It's a very good collaborative album. It's probably the best collaborative album of all time, but although it's not really much to say about it. Now, this album, Lonerism by Tame Impala, I'm a huge fan of Tame Impala. A huge fan. He's probably like my favourite, maybe second favourite, maybe third favourite. Top 5 singers, and this is in my top 10 favourite albums of all time. It's so colourful, so good. I absolutely recommend. I love it so much. But yes, for me, it was the Marshall Mathers LP. 2 is second Marshall Mathers LP because he released the Slim Shady LP. It was his first album in 1999. And then he released the Marshall Mathers LP, the original, in like 2000. And then in 13 years later, he released Marshall Mathers LP 2. This one's probably one of Eminem's best. So but for me, it was this album or Yeezus by Kanye West. Yeezus, they're probably like Drew, but like by 0.0000001%, I chose the Marshall Mathers LP2 for 2013. So this is the Black Album by the Beatles. It's like a compilation, so this isn't really an album. But basically, people have put together all of the 4 Beatles' solo work, their best piece of solo work together. So yeah, it's probably the best. It's probably one of the best because it's great. My best album for 2015 is Currents by Tame Impala. This one is probably more commercially successful than Lonerism, but I prefer Lonerism by the tiniest amount. But this is also an amazing album. The album cover is also very trippy. I love the album cover so much. It's the best, probably one of my best albums, again, top 10. For me, The Life of Pablo 2016 is the last, like, classic Kanye album, and like the most recent album that I ever listened to, really, because well, there was really ever no need, because the ones after, me and my uncle, we both love Kanye West, aren't really massive fans of his new stuff, because so this was like as far as we went for Kanye, really, but we love the early stuff. But after this, we haven't listened to. We have listened to, but we just don't like it that much. So this one's probably his last classic album, like his last best, like, top tier album. For 2017, I went for Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Probably Kendrick Lamar's best album might be To Pimp a Butterfly, but no, definitely not To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly is very good, but I do prefer Damn over To Pimp a Butterfly. But this one's probably the best album. So yeah. This may be very controversial because I am a very huge fan of the Beatles and all their solo work, but the second I saw this, I knew it was Egypt Station by Paul McCartney or Astro World. I believe this is Paul McCartney's most recent, like, actual studio album. I think it'll be his last studio album. I think he released a couple of singles in 2023, maybe. Could be wrong about that, but I think this is his last, like, actual album on his own. Fortunately, but it is great. For 2019, I chose Tyler the Creator's Igor. Probably one of the best, like, rap albums of all time, maybe. For 2020, I went for Legends Never Die by Juice WRLD. It's pretty much, again, one of his, like, greatest hits. It was made, like, I can't remember if it was just before or just after he died. But anyway, it's pretty much a, like, very good album. So yeah, it's probably like the best album of 2020. He's one of the best. For me, at least, the best album of 2021 is this Beatles 1958 to 1962. For me, for 2022, I think it's the Get Back rooftop performance. It is literally just a rooftop performance. Let It Be. Some songs are just the rooftop performance, but this one is fully the rooftop performance. There's like no studio in it, so I think that's really cool. So I've gone with that, which is really cool. I like the actual picture, but yeah, I'm covering not the picture really, but bit just fine to call it, but you know what I meant. So yeah. For me personally, my favourite album from 2023 is Ed Sheeran's Autumn Variations. I don't know why, but ever since it released, I've always loved it. I don't know why, but it's one of those albums where for some reason you just really like it. So that's a very good album. For me, for 2024, I like The Death of Slim Shady by Eminem. It's his last album, which is what he said. So he's doing like one last world tour apparently next year, which is really cool. But yeah, so that's quite good. Now, for me at least, the album of the year so far is it has to be Tame Impala's Deadbeat. I think it has to be. Like people aren't that big a fan of it, and people think like other albums like A Man's Best Friend by like not Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, or Life is Showgirl by Taylor Swift, or Play by Ed Sheeran. But I think it is this one. So I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, because that is the full review of albums from 1955 to today. But I also hope you had a nice Guy Fawkes night last night, bonfire night, firework night, whatever you want to call it, and bye.